Tori Rice is a single mom with 2 children. She works at a gas station and can't afford much. So when she saw a Craigslist ad for an apartment she could afford, she jumped at the chance, even paying a few months of rent up front.
I paid him $1,800 cash. All that is black mold, plus it's broken.
Tori says the property manager agreed to fix many of the issues she pointed out and even threw in a couple extra rooms in this basement apartment at no extra cost. But shortly after moving in, it rained, and that's when Tori noticed a big problem.
That's covered in black mold. And then it's got, obviously, where you can see that there's been leakage coming down the wall.
Tori says she knew almost immediately after moving in that she couldn't live here.
As soon as I seen the black mold, I was like, obviously, this is not living conditions for me and my kids. My daughter already has asthma problems. If I was to keep her in this house, she'd be really sick or end up dead.
Tori contacted property management but says they only offered to cut out the mold and repaint. So Tori contacted Call 6 Investigates.
All I want is my money back or you to move me to another unit where I know there's no black mold. And he told me no.
So we went to work.
We're going to try the number on the Craigslist ad.
The property manager told us they'll address anything the health department says they need to address. After Call 6 Investigates got involved, the health department came out for an inspection and issued this 4-page scathing report. They deemed the unit not habitable because of mold throughout and defective electrical wiring. The health department ordered Tori to get out immediately for her own health and safety.
Can she get her money back and just move out?
Days after this phone call, the manager gave Tori $1,600 of her money back. Now Tori is looking for a new, safe place to call home. Next time, she'll be more cautious when scoping out apartments.
I will definitely make sure I know what I'm getting myself into.
Getting results, I'm Call 6 Investigates, Kara Kenny.
Anxiety, disgust, outrage. Tenants of a Whitehaven apartment complex are demanding managers fix what they're calling an extreme water leak.
They told Fox 13 Your Money investigator Kate Beery that mold is not only destroying their furniture, it is making their children sick. Kate is working to get answers for this family tonight.
This Whitehaven apartment smells horrible, and I'm going to show you why. The carpet, the furniture, the walls are all soaking wet, and tenants believe they deserve better.
It's awful. It is awful.
First, she saw the mold.
It just came out a little bit and then boom.
Then she felt the soggy carpet. Then Yolandra Horton Hampton found what she believes is the source of the problems in her daughter's apartment complex. She said a maintenance worker allowed her inside a neighboring unit at the Hillcrest Apartments. She was shocked.
Lord have mercy, Jesus. The walls are all covered in mold. The ceiling is down. There's water leaking. The floor is flooded, just like this one.
She said the water destroyed her daughter's TV and couches. Neighbors also worried.
We paying rent. They need to come and fix it.
We walked to the leasing office to demand answers. A woman told us to call her boss.
It just seems like an emergency situation. Have you tried to get hotels? I mean, is this a codes violation?
We're actually in talks with code officer.
Sammy Sarro is the co-founder of Capstone Realty and Management. He said the company recently acquired this property, which they are trying to improve. He said management is working to get the tenants into new units.
Just a lot of people are worried. They feel like they're getting sick.
I 100% understand your concern. And again, we are working. We understand the emergency, and we're getting that done right away.
I feel like they need to get it together over here or shut down.
Look at this mold on the wall. Not every tenant spoke to us on camera, but everyone we met said this is not safe. Following Your Money, Kate Beery, Fox 13 News.
Lafayette man is pointing the finger at his apartment complex over what appears to be black mold.
He lives at University Place Apartments and is calling his apartment a biohazard. Micah Hatfield takes us inside and also finds out what the complex is doing. All new tonight.
Kelly Jenkins entered his bedroom for the first time in a week at University Place last Friday to find standing water from a leaky pipe.
That's when I looked into my bedroom and there was just mold everywhere. There was still about 1.5 inches of standing water there.
He says his clothes, laptop, furniture, and books are all covered with mold, and he now has a rash and a cough. Jenkins says he reported the problem on Friday to management and University Place Apartments, and several times since then.
They just come in, look at the mold, and leave. The first attempt was they sent a maintenance guy with a spray bottle of bleach to come in and get rid of the mold, but you can't do that with this amount of mold.
Management tells us they've offered Jenkins several places to live, but he's declined.
They tried to start moving him out of that apartment right away on Monday. I mean, they did. And like I said, I know that they went to offer him a couple different apartments right away, and he wanted to go back to his original one. He actually, I was told he actually chose to stay in his original unit, even though he knew it was unsafe for him to remain there.
I really don't have any place to go in Lafayette.
In Lafayette, Micah Hatfield, KATC, TV3.
And just before news time, management at University Place Apartments releasing an additional statement to us, telling us that they will be forcing Jenkins to vacate his apartment, citing concerns for his health. They tell us he has been given keys to another unit.
Tonight.
Well, a family in Humble has come forward sharing their distressing living conditions.
That's right. They recently discovered the presence of mold in their apartment, highlighting a potentially hazardous situation. Well, Fox 26's Jade Fleury is in the studio with an only on Fox story. Welcome, Jade.
Thank you. But you guys, Jashay Brandon says she's been living with black mold for over a year in the township apartments in Humble. She says even though they recently sent maintenance, it was only a temporary fix. The mother of two says she noticed black mold in her apartment after maintenance removed cabinets from a leaking pipe. She says it took 6 months for the apartments to respond to her request. By that time, she says her family was already dealing with health issues.
At that point, my kids were sick all the time, going in and out of the hospital, in and out of doctors, me missing work.
Mold contamination in dwellings is very clearly associated with respiratory issues.
After several posts on Facebook by the father of her child, the township apartment sent maintenance to remove the mold-covered wall this afternoon. But Dr. Ostrowski recommends anyone handling black mold to wear protective gear, which staff did not have on. Now, we did reach out to the township apartments, but they declined to comment. Jade Fleury, Fox 26 News.
And Brittany Tanya Dial has been living here at the Adana apartment since 2019. She hasn't had any issues until things started breaking down inside the apartment. Her biggest problem now is the mold she says has her 2-week-old baby in the NICU.
This is also closet that failed.
Tanya Dial is a first-time mom. She just wants to hold her 2-week-old baby boy again.
It hurts because I can't hold my son like I want to. I have to go to the hospital and see him. It's not fair at all. I'm frustrated.
She's frustrated because she says mold in the Adana apartment master bedroom bathtub has forced them to leave her son with NICU doctors.
They said the mold has almost got to his brain. Should no baby go through that.
Dial and her husband reached out to WVTM 13, frustrated property managers aren't fixing their requests for the broken dishwasher and AC unit.
They said, oh, we're going to come fix it, and they don't.
She invited us into her apartment to see the conditions. We wore our KN95 masks to protect ourselves.
We started living here, and everything started breaking down.
Property managers at the apartment complex would not give us an interview. Without saying the Dials' names, just their situation, staff knew who I was talking about. One woman at the leasing office, who wouldn't tell me her name, says they've had issues with them since they moved in. When I asked her to explain, she wouldn't comment any further. I called the property owner based in Michigan multiple times. No answer.
You have reached 1101. We're sorry, this mailbox is full. Please try again later.
Dial says she just wants her son to be able to come home.
Y'all know better. Y'all have family out here that doesn't have air. Come on. Treat people the way you would like to be treated.
Magdala, I want to ask you about other tenants in that complex. Are the Dials the only ones having issues?
Yeah, Ian, that question we did ask. We wanted to knock on the door of other neighbors in the area to see if they were going through the same thing. Well, Tanya Dow tells us a lot of her neighbors left, and she's the only tenant on that floor. And unfortunately, unlike her neighbors, she and her husband will have to stay where they're at because they don't have a backup plan. So they're just going to have to wait to see if the property managers here can fix their problem. Live in Birmingham, I'm Magdala Lusant, WVTN 13.
ISU man has been sick for about 4 years and didn't know the reason why until just last January. Matt Schugert found out his chronic illnesses stemmed from mold problems growing in his apartment. Local News 8's Angelina Dixon talked with Steve DiGiulio from Advantage Inspection Properties today. How can the mold be prevented?
Carol, mold can only grow from water. He says it's best to check many areas of your house to make sure nothing is leaking. These are the many problems you might be able to find in your house if you're not careful. Water leaking in the walls, water leaking from the sink areas, and your exhaust fans in your bathroom. Steve DiGiulio says it's not just water from your house that could be the problem, but intrusion from the snow and rain as well.
Moisture. Moisture is the biggest, it's what causes mold. Moisture and improper ventilated area. And it will. Improperly installed windows will cause that also, and mold will grow in the walls because, of course, they're not ventilated and they're dark and musty. You know, and also in attics. People that are having bath fans vent into the attic area.
Now, DiGiulio says even though we live in a drier climate, he says it's never an excuse to possibly find mold in your home. Reporting live in Pocatello, I'm Angelina Dixon.
All right, Angelina. As for the apartment with the mold, managers of the complex say that's been cleaned up and Matt Schugert should be in the clear.
Well, we are learning more about the mold and water problems that are forcing the shutter of the Agawam Public Library. The mayor says the books are okay, but the building needs to be cleaned. Now, a water pipe burst in a conference room back in September, the beginning of September, which led to a leak that went unnoticed. The mayor told 22 News that the results of an air quality test also revealed that mold is in 4 non-frequented areas of the library. They hired a company to deep clean the building. At this point, no timetable on reopening.